Okay, now we are going to be testing our hashBlock method in test.js file. So in our test.js file, we should be importing our blockchain data structure, and then we create a new instance of our blockchain, and we call it Bitcoin. So now let's test our hashBlock method. So we will say bitcoin.hashBlock. And this method will take in 3 parameters. It takes in a previous block hash, current block data, and a nonce. So let's define these variables above where we are calling our hashBlock method. So let's make some room, and up here we will say const previous block hash equals, and for now this can just be some random string that will act as our previous block hash. Next, we have current block data that we have to pass in. So we will say const current block data, and this will simply be equal to an array of all the transactions that will be present in this block. We're simply going to use the transactions in this block as our current block data. So in this array, let's make a couple transaction objects. We will make one with the amount of 10 Bitcoin and the sender of this address. Doesn't really matter right now, it can be any address. And a recipient with this address. And let's make a couple more transaction objects. So our second one, we'll put in an amount of 30 Bitcoin and an address of this. And this will be our recipient address. And here we'll put in 200 Bitcoin and some other nonsense address here, another address here. Cool. So that's our current block data is an array of 3 addresses, or excuse me, an array of 3 transactions. And finally, we have to pass in a nonce into our hashBlock method. So we'll say const nonce equals, and we'll just put in the value of 100. Will be our nonce for now. So now we can call our hashBlock method by passing in our previous block hash, which is this value right here. And we'll pass in our current block data and our nonce. And actually, let's console log out the result of this. Cool. So we're calling our hashBlock method with all the correct parameters, and we should just get a hash logged out to our terminal when we run this file. So let's save this, and in our terminal, let's run node dev test.js and see what we get. Great. So we get this hash. This is the resulting hash of our hashBlock method. So it looks like our hashBlock method is working pretty well. Now, to explore this hashBlock method a little bit more, if we change some of the data that we are passing into the method, it should completely change the hash that we get returned. So just as an example, let's change this sender address to have the letter A on the end of it. And we'll save that, and let's run it now. Cool. So as you can see, we get an entirely different hash returned. Very cool. But if we take that A off now and we run our hash method again, we get the same hash that we originally got because we're passing in the same data that we did the first time around. Cool. So our hashBlock method is working just as it should.